Hey guys, how you doing? Hopefully you're doing okay. I'm going to give you a thorough overview of the most important aspects within this article. There is a link in the description. It's a lengthy article and it's really going to bring us all up to speed in regards to the Quinton Simon case. And I think I'm going to skip a lot of the secondary points. I'm just going to focus on the important points, and that is that the mother, Leilani Simon, 22 years of age, has been charged as of Monday in regards to the murder of her 20-month-old son, Quinton Simon, who had been missing since October the 5th. So to clarify, the mother has been charged on Monday with multiple charges. They include malice, murder, concealing the death of another person, false reporting, and making false statements in connection with the disappearance and death of her 20-month-old son, Quinton Simon. Now, for anyone that had been following the case, even if just on a casual basis, loosely following, we would have already known that the mother was the primary suspect. The authorities let us know through the media quite early on, if I remember correctly, that they had strong reasons to believe that the mother, Leilani Simon, had placed Quinton Simon's body into a dumpster, which had subsequently been taken. The dump truck would have dumped its contents, the rubbish, and including potentially the disposed body of Quinton Simon, to the landfill. So there's been for more than a month a very, very thorough search of the landfill, and they've finally found some human remains. Okay, so it's a massive task to search this landfill. There's been dozens, if not hundreds, of people searching the site. I don't know if they're all paid. Perhaps some of them are volunteers, but it's been one heck of a challenge for them, and a dangerous one too. This is a toxic, dangerous environment. So well done all those that participated in the search of the landfill in Georgia. Little Neck Landfill, I believe it's called. And they have found some human remains. Those human remains have undergone testing. They will go under further testing. So there are further results from the human remains to come through. However, the preliminary initial results that have come through from the testing of the human remains found at the landfill, which again I believe is called Little Neck Landfill, did I see? Those results have confirmed that the remains are that of 20-month-old Quinton Simon. That is what the authorities needed, or felt that they needed, in order to lay the charges that they have, the murder charges, against the mother. So she is in custody. There will be a bond hearing. Here's a little bit of advice for you, Georgia. Don't give a bond. Just refuse to provide a bond. She is the prime and sole suspect in regards to the murder of her 20-month-old son, Quinton Simon. Do not give her a bond. She doesn't deserve one. Georgia, you do not need these psychopaths like this walking your streets. Okay? So the authorities have said at this point in time that she is believed to be the sole suspect, that they don't suspect anybody else to be a part of the murder of Quinton Simon. They don't suspect anybody else to be involved in the disposing of Quinton Simon's body. She is the sole suspect. The investigation is still ongoing. There's more information to be found, but the police have already said that they feel that they have a very strong prosecutory case against this scumbag, Leilani Simon, the mother. Okay, so what I've relayed are really the most important aspects of the developments within this case. Ultimately, the search of Little Neck Landfill in Georgia, has found the remains, of which is almost certainly Quinton Simon, the 20-month-old boy that disappeared October the 5th. The mother has subsequently been charged with murder. So those are the key points. Of course, full condolences to the family concerned. The surrounding community, everyone, this is a highly publicized case. Everyone in the local area and beyond are touched emotionally. They've been emotionally involved in the disappearance, the potential murder of Quinton Simon, and now they know that he was indeed murdered. He has indeed had his life taken away from him. This little angel that you see in front of you, a little cherub, a little baby boy, tiny little thing. At this point in time, we don't know how he died. Perhaps the police have a good understanding. Pretty sure she does. Maybe she doesn't. But in any case, full condolences to the family concerned, with the exception of the mother. So we hope that they all get through this, and again with the local community that are going to be shaken by this, and with the police department as well, and all of those volunteers or whomever it was that were involved in the landfill search. Condolences to all of you guys. Hopefully this evil scumbag, wench, whore, banshee faces true justice, that she gets convicted, should she be found guilty, and that she faces a very long time in jail. And that, let's hope that her fellow inmates get to have a nice little chat with her from time to time and express how they feel about her treatment of her 20-month-old son, baby boy, which resulted in his murder. So as I say, that's pretty much the bulk of the important details, the key details within the article. I am going to continue with the video. Going to just cover a few points. I might waffle a little bit here and there, but I just want to raise a couple of points for those that might want to hear a little bit more about the case, but not everyone will. So I'll say goodbye to those that want to duck out at this point. Like, comment, subscribe, all of that. But I'll just be touching on a few more subjects. So here we go. So a little bit more detail. Quinton was reported missing from his home in Savannah, Georgia on October the 5th. At that point in time, his body hadn't been found, but it was quickly ruled that he had been murdered. According to the mother's boyfriend, Danny Youngkin, Danny was the last person that saw Quinton, and he saw him around 6 a.m. on October the 5th. The mother reported him missing at around 9 a.m. So 3 hours later. Is that reasonable to wait 3 hours in regards to the 20-month-old being missing? Well, we know at this point why there was a 3-hour wait. That was because she had killed him, and she was in the process of disposing of his body. Child Protective Services stepped in and took her other 2 children from her custody on October the 12th. So that's 1 week after Quinton went missing. I'm going to just throw in a little bit of a ramble here, my 2 cents. I don't think I'm happy with that. Maybe I'm completely unfair. Maybe I'm completely unreasonable. I'm not an expert in these matters. But my thought process is, well, that's a full week that her 2 other children were in the custody of someone that the police believe at this point in time is the primary and sole suspect in regards to the murder of her 20-month-old son. Why would Child Protective Services leave her in custody of other children for a further week? Now, I just need to clarify, I don't know at which date the police suspected that the mother was likely involved in the murder of Quinton Simon. Maybe it was at that point here, October the 12th. Maybe CPS got involved shortly thereafter. But I would hope that CPS does get involved in removal of other children at the point that police are able to say, yes, we have strong reason to believe that the parent involved, the guardian involved, is a suspect in relation to the abuse or harm or murder of a given child. I would hope that the CPS get involved at that point. Anyway, her 2 other children were removed, so it's a good thing. What else does it tell us? It tells us, it reminds us that there was a bit of a media hoo-ha about 2 weeks after Quinton disappeared. There was a media hoo-ha. Quinton's grandmother, Billie Joe Jowell, as well as the mother, Leilani, went to a local bar. They drank tequila. I think we were even told that they spent $300 or something like that. We were given a dollar amount. They had a good old time. They drank it up, the mother and the grandmother, whilst Quinton was missing. So there was a lot of judgment coming from the media, which would have been there to serve the public and prompted from the public, I dare say. Generally, some anger, some judgment, in a roundabout kind of way, arguing that the mother and the grandmother should not have been at a bar enjoying themselves, or even not enjoying themselves. They shouldn't have been at a bar when 20-month-old Quinton was missing and potentially murdered. So there was a lot of anger. I think the reasoning is, well, these guys seem a little bit too happy for our liking, a little bit too happy. Are they celebrating Quinton's disappearance? Is that what's going on? Are they happy that Quinton isn't around, that he's disappeared, that he's been murdered? I think that was the general thinking, the general mindset, which is understandable in my mind. Arguably unfair. People do have the right to carry on with their lives as best as they see fit. I think a genuinely grieving parent or family member has every right to go to the bar, do whatever they want. I think that's okay. I don't think we're in a position to judge. I think the public did judge really because we all felt that the mother was very likely to be the guilty party. And indeed, seemingly that is the case, or certainly that's what is indicated by the murder charges laid against her. So we'll move on from that subject, but I'll just mention another subject which is kind of related. There's been a lot of hoo-ha outside of the family home, the Simons family home. So there has been activists, there's been protesters, some would say harassers. Some of these people, these groups that have been gathering, accumulating outside of the Simons property house, all day, all night, for days, weeks, perhaps even a month or more. They've been there in an activist capacity, and some of them have included YouTubers. A couple that I'm slightly aware of, Bullhorn Betty and Molly Golightly, and they've found great success. Those YouTubers have brought in a lot of subscribers, hundreds a day or more, thousands a day maybe, because of their activism, or some would say harassment of the Simon family. And I'm just going to comment on that briefly. I think that it's pretty gross to harass people. It's pretty gross to harass people. It's pretty gross to interfere in an ongoing police investigation. It's pretty gross. Shouldn't be encouraged. So it's not something that I approve of. However, I do understand. I think I do. I do understand why some people would want to protest. Some of the YouTubers would want to protest in an attempt to gain subscribers, in an attempt to gain donations for monetary gain, which is quite immoral in my opinion. Others would be protesting really to express their anger towards who they believed was a child murderer. And, I understand that. And I believe that given that the mother has been charged with murder, given that the remains of Quinton Simon have seemingly been found, I would say that those activists, whether they're YouTubers or local residents, I would say that their actions have somewhat been vindicated, I would think, from the fact that she has been charged with the murder and the Quinton's body has been found. Quinton's remains have been found. So I would think that that level of harassment has been vindicated, certainly to some level in my mind. That's my take on it. You might disagree. But we'll move on, and we'll just mention a couple of other points that the article reminds us of. Quinton's mother had lost custody of Quinton and his brother, and she had just been ordered by the state to start paying child supports, just at the point that Quinton vanished. So she was about to need to pay child support costs. And then all of a sudden, Quinton vanished. A week beforehand, she was told she needed to cough up $150 a month for the boys. If one of them died, that bill would be reduced by $50. Lo and behold, one of them died. I really hope to God that that isn't a motive here. I fucking hope this stupid banshee bitch, psychopathic evil whore, C-U-N-T of a woman, the mother, did she kill her own 20-month-old son to save herself $50 a month? You fucking evil bitch. If that is the case, then no, you would just have to. You deserve suffering every moment, every living moment that you have left. If that is the case, hopefully that's not relevant. Hopefully that's not a relevant factor. But can you imagine if that is the reason, if that is the motive, if that's part of the motive, to kill a child to save $50 a month? Just going to move on from that point. The babysitter was suspicious immediately. She was due to babysit that day, but then she was told very quickly that she didn't need to. The babysitter thought that it was strange that hours before he was reported missing, she was told not to come to work. So she was told not to come to work hours before Quinton was reported missing. Well, doesn't quite add up. Why didn't the mother report him missing sooner? She can be bothered to tell the babysitter not to come in. So we're going to move on just to cover a couple of other points. So another point here is that the grandmother, Billie Jo Jowell, I believe her name is, she was recorded. There's an 11-minute audio recording of her in which she states that she believes that the mother, her own daughter, so Leilani, let me clarify. The grandmother, Billie Jo Jowell, was recorded stating that Billie Jo Jowell believes that the mother, Leilani Simon, was the guilty party of killing Quinton Simon. That was a recording. The grandmother felt that the mother perhaps got drunk, perhaps was in a drug-addled state, and carelessly neglected Quinton to the point that he died. Perhaps he was in the bath or something like that. We don't know how he died at this point. But that's what the grandmother felt. I feel like something happened while Quinton was in the bathtub and that he drowned and they were both high. That's my theory. Seemingly that's what the grandmother said, that it was her theory. Is it possible that the grandmother knew that that's what happened? I guess it is possible, but I'd say unlikely. I'd say if the grandmother knew, I think she would report it to the police. That would be my take on it. I've seen her in a short video, and she's very emotional. Don't know anything about her, of course, but I would hate to think that the whole family are psychopaths. Maybe they are. This person seems to think that the grandmother is a baby killer as well. I don't know how accurate that is. Billy Joe Howell, it says here. So maybe there was a typo earlier. So yeah, here are some of the activists, I would say. They've got a pergola. I think you would consider that a pergola. Is that right? As a memorial. So perhaps this one isn't so much of an activist. But we've got people with their signs out. Billy Joel and Leilani, baby killer. Leilani Simon killed her baby and threw him in the garbage. People are protesting in and around the area. And maybe these are YouTubers trying to build their profile, get more subs, get some donations. Maybe this is a YouTuber or other social media activist. Or maybe it's a genuinely interested party, someone that's perhaps local to the area. Yeah, we don't know. We do know that the mother tried to blame the father, the biological father of Quinton Simon's death. So here is the biological father, Henry Moss. He's also known as Bubba. And at some point, Leilani accused him of having snatched Quinton Simon from the home and subsequently killed him. So the police tracked him down, had a word with him, and they quickly concluded that he's innocent. The biological father had nothing to do with the death of Quinton Simon. So full condolences to this young man, Henry Moss. His 20-month-old biological son has died. I don't know how involved he was with Quinton's life, how much he expected to be involved or hoped to be involved. But either way, his own biological son, his own flesh and blood, has been murdered. So full condolences to Henry Moss and that side of the family. I'm not sure if I've pressed pause accidentally, and I'm a little bit tired. I've gone through this video a couple of times, so I've not done the best video, but I've done good enough, I think. So, gonna wrap things up at this point. If you've listened all the way till the end, then you're an absolute star. I very much appreciate it. Yeah, really do appreciate that. So you can tell me if you've listened all the way to the end. That would be good to know. But in any case, I'm going to call it a night at this point. Again, full condolences to the family concerned. And let's just hope that this evil bitch gets the horrendous, brutal treatment that she deserves. Thanks.